GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show where we serve crypto news as fresh as clean bed sheets on a Sunday night. I'm your host, Jay Hamilton, and today we are joined by Chris Wolf, aka Wolfie, Director of Business Development for Kaspa. Now, there's two reasons why we invited Kaspa on the show today. Number one, they're a top 50 coin by market cap, and we want to ensure that you guys are informed of all the biggest projects in crypto. And number two, one of the narratives that we've talked a lot about throughout this cycle is the next L1. In the first cycle, we had Bitcoin, then we had Ethereum, and then we had Solana, and everyone's looking for what is the next L1 that you could get ahead of for the next cycle. We've talked about Aptos and Sui in the past. You can check out those past episodes. But today we're going to dive into Kaspa and get Wolfie to share the breakdown of exactly what they're building, what they've achieved, what their success is looking like, and where their roadmap is headed in the future. Before we jump in, we got to take a quick moment to hear from our fantastic sponsors who make this show possible. Whether you're bullish or bearish on MicroStrategy, T-Rex ETFs are your gateway to dynamic market plays. Get exclusive access to leveraged exposures with the first 2x short or 2x long ETFs designed specifically for MicroStrategy stock. Position yourself with precision. With T-Rex, you gain access to powerful tools for sophisticated investors. Meet Uphold, a trading platform that's changing the way you think about money. Imagine this, earning up to 4.9% APY on your US dollars. No catches, no lockup periods, and no fees. And yes, it's FDIC insured up to $2.5 million. They offer access to over 300 digital assets, which you can trade, store, and exchange with confidence, knowing Uphold operates with a 100% reserve and a transparent model. Create your account, fund it with a few taps, and you're ready to go. Click the link in the description and join Uphold today. Wolfie, welcome to the Milk Road Show.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. It's neat to be invited to participate, and just that name Milk Road sounds kind of cozy and like familiar, like milk and cookies, something good. So yeah. Thanks a lot. It's fun to be here.
Maybe we should start eating milk and cookies on the show. We've never done that before. That would be a nice little sweet treat. Okay, let's start with something really simple. If you had to describe Kaspa in one sentence, how would you describe it?
I've been recently referring to it as the turbo great-grandson of Bitcoin.
Okay. So Kaspa is commonly described as a comparison to Bitcoin. That gives us a good starting point, a good frame of reference. In order to understand how it compares to Bitcoin and where it fits within what its purpose is as a blockchain, I think it's important to go back and sort of understand the history of Kaspa. Can you give us a little bit of a short history lesson?
Sure. So the founder is a fantastic gentleman named Jonathan Sampolinsky. He first became intrigued with blockchain and Bitcoin in 2012, but he wondered to himself, how come it takes so long? If it's internet money, why does it take 10 or 20 or 30 minutes to send this magic internet money? When I go to Google, it's instant. When I go to Netflix, it's instant, but it's internet money and it takes half an hour. That's kind of silly. So he became kind of like obsessed with speeding up blockchain. So his first try at that was called Ghost Protocol, which he wrote, and Vitalik from Ethereum picked up that technology and used it in the framework in 2013 for Ethereum. So that enabled Bitcoin has a 10-minute block time, and Ethereum was able to go all the way down to 12 seconds so that things happen a lot faster on Ethereum because of Jonathan's first protocol he wrote. Since then, he's written successively more perfected protocols. The latest and greatest of his is called GhostDAG, and that's what Kaspa is founded on. So Kaspa is going to be 3 years old in just about another week here. And so Kaspa runs on GhostDAG, which is very high speed. We have 1 second block time. So that's 600 times faster than Bitcoin. So everything else is very similar to Bitcoin. It's a fair launch. There's no company behind it. It's run by miners. Miners, mine the largest Bitcoin miner in the world also mines Kaspa. This is the second coin they ever mined in 14 years. It's called Marathon Digital. So So that's a high boost to our credibility. We feel like we're following in the footsteps of good old granddaddy digital gold pretty well here. Even though it's cliche to, every coin in the world in the last 14 years says the new Bitcoin, the faster Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. It's very cliche and played out to say that. But in this case of Kaspa, I believe it's truly the next logical descendant of, to be a digital silver compared to a digital gold.
Mm-hmm. Okay, lots to unpack in there. So we've got Kaspa's a proof of work blockchain. That's very interesting. It's different than a lot of the more recent blockchains have launched have gone more to proof of stake. You use the term digital silver to describe Kaspa, which is a term that I've seen a lot and often heard. Why do you use the term if Bitcoin is digital gold, why is Kaspa digital silver?
So, Litecoin was kind of supposed to be the digital silver, but it doesn't have anything really breakthrough technology-wise, and it's pretty old. It's also a blockchain. So, Kaspa actually means in Aramaic silver or currency. Aramaic's super old from like the Old Testament. So, they created it to flow more. Historically, like gold was really the store of value. You hide it in the backyard or in the bank or whatever. And then to buy stuff at the market or trade, you would use silver. So we wanted Kaspa. Kaspa has a larger max supply than Bitcoin. We have about 25 billion coins out now, and the cap is 28 billion. So it's about 85% mined right now. So there's only a little bit of inflationary stage left. And also with the rapid confirmation time, like if I send you Kaspa right now, you get it in 1 second, and then you can send it to someone else in 10 seconds. And we have a high-speed test net that's been running for about 9 months now, where it's even 10 times faster than that. So we have 10 blocks per second running flawlessly for about 9 months. And in about 2 or 3 months, we're going to have a speed upgrade on the main network, and we're going to have 100 millisecond block time, which is 10 blocks per second. So that's 4 times faster than Solana. That'll be the fastest network in the world, hands down.
Wow, it's amazing how much speed comes up in what we're building on chain, and the reason speed comes up so much is for good reason. It's that if we want to replace the traditional financial system, if we want to replace the traditional financial rails, then we need to do so with a better technology. And obviously, right now, sending money around the world, as you said, takes way too long. If I want to send money to somebody in Mexico or in Argentina I'm in Canada, it'll take me 5 days to do so. It's just nuts. So with the digital silver reference, it's not that when I think about silver, I think about it as a commodity and as a store of value. That's not the reference that you're going for with Kaspa. It's not that Kaspa is a store of value trying to compete with Bitcoin as a store of value. It's more that Kaspa is building a blockchain to enable fast transactions, whether that be moving money or whatever you might be wanting to do on chain.
Sure. I mean, to some extent, it would of course be a store of value. If you look at Grayscale's assets under consideration in currencies, the only one under consideration right now is Kaspa. So you have some of the household names from the teens. You have Bitcoin, BCH or BSV, one of those two, Bitcoin Cash or whatever, and then Litecoin and just a few others, maybe Dash or Zcash, something like that. A few of the older blockchain coins, and then the only one that's under consideration right now is Kaspa. So store of value would be part of it, but the silver is a little more flowing and a little more liquid, and the ease and the divisibility of it, to pay for a cup of coffee or a cheeseburger with Bitcoin, even if it was instant, you would need a calculator, like 0.00, like how many Satoshis is a cheeseburger? I have no idea. But, Kaspa's like 10 cents right now. So, cheeseburgers, $5, you just do 500 coins. It's pretty easy.
Geez, you're making me hungry on this show here, Wolf. We got milk and cookies and cheeseburgers. Okay, I know what I'm doing after we stop recording. Do you think then that, because this is a great debate that is happening right now as to what will be the payment method on chain? There is no debate that payments on chain is much better than payments through the TradFi system, but stablecoins seem to be. They are the predominant player now and are growing at a rapid rate and seem to be becoming the form of payment that we will use on chain. Do you think that Kaspa could be that form of payment though?
The actual coin of Kaspa itself, because of the volatility, it's more likely that a stable coins will be, the daily payment. However, paying to move the token of the stable coin would be settled, would be Kaspa. So at the moment we have KRC20 tokens. We have an inscription service, a protocol called Kasplex. It's an outside. It's another outside party developed a protocol that runs on the Kaspa network, and we have some memes on there, and we have some stable coins that are just beginning. It's only been going for about maybe 5 weeks or something, but we have a lot of action going on. And then simultaneously we have a really neat and interesting type of smart contract, a breakthrough technology in the smart contract realm that's already hashed out on paper, and it will become funded and go into development very shortly here. So we will have the ability to do really near instant settlement for very, very cheap of any stables that arise on the network. In fact, there's a really interesting use case that's been put forth by a group of energy giants from the MENA, Middle East, North Africa region, and Europe. And it's called Kaspa Industrial Initiative. And one of their primary focuses is they want to create a token called Gigawatt Token. And these are guys that have huge energy grids for entire countries in the Middle East, like in Dubai and Saudi Arabia, and lots of European countries. It's either like states, counties, or the whole country. And during certain parts of the day, they're making extra electric, so they put it out on the grid. And then when it's peak demand in their area, then they pull a little back, and they borrow it back from the other electric providers on the continent, and they need to settle right now with fiat banking. So that the wiring and the foreign exchange, that's very time consuming to accounting for, and the fees and the conversion rate is very expensive. So they're going to make Gigawatt Token, and it's going to be a token on Kaspa. It's going to be backed by energy and fiat currencies and some other things. And this will give them the ability to 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, every 15 minutes, everybody on the grid can balance out. This guy owes, a million watts, and this guy's get 750,000 something, bip, 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 bip. And it's all, servers and just executing these transactions in the Gigawatt Token. And it was very important for them that it was censorship resistant, like decentralized. So since we're based on miners, and it's open source software, and there's no controlling entity, we don't have validators, we don't have staking. So if somebody goes, oh, that country, those are bad guys, like this address has like sanctioned money or whatever, like freeze the address, Solana, and wire it to the US Department of Energy. Like that can happen on other chains. Did I say Solana? Whoops, sorry about that. But like it can't happen on Bitcoin, and it can't happen on Kaspa. So it's very important to distinguish between decentralized and centralized.
Yeah, well, and you make the point, decentralized to centralized. That's a scale. It's not black or white. It's not like we're decentralized and you're centralized. There's a big spectrum there. And yes, proof of work chains are more decentralized than proof of stake chains, because proof of stake chains rely on validators, and it takes time to have enough validators. There's a reason that Ethereum is the most decentralized, it has the most validators, but Solana still has a very low amount of validators. No, they have a roadmap to get there and to push to get in that direction, to have more decentralization, but also staking is a big risk. I mean, Vitalik recently said that staking is the biggest risk to decentralization on Ethereum, because you have Lido, which controls now so much of ETH. So yeah, there is some centralization risk on those proof of stake blockchains. I want to go back to something you said before, which was the use cases of Kaspa. Can you talk? I know you guys are a young chain, so and it takes time to build a chain, to get projects on board, to get projects to build on your chain and then to launch and like all these things. So can you just give us, where are you guys at right now in terms of adoption and use? How much usage is there on chain? Can you give us any metrics or any numbers? And then maybe I wouldn't be surprised if your numbers are low, and that's okay because you guys are new. So maybe give us paint the picture for how you can grow and what needs to happen in order for Kaspa to achieve that breakout and those network effects that we've seen from some of the other chains.
Certainly, yeah. So I believe we have several 100,000 active wallets at the moment. As I had mentioned, the KRC20, the inscription, the ability to create meme tokens and to have stables and other purpose tokens on the network, that just came out about 5 weeks ago. We have some very high volume going on. I think we did 15 or 17 million transactions. We settled in 24 hours. We had like a minting process where a new token was launched and people were minting. They were paying a little bit of Kaspa and generating tokens from this, doing inscriptions. And yeah, I think it was like it was a world record for a proof of work network. So that was really neat to see that. Where we're going, so we're gonna 10x our throughput capacity. If you think about it in a simple form, many people aren't technical, and that's okay. You know, I'm not really technical myself. The people who came up with Kaspa are fantastic guys. I mean, the founders at Harvard research right now. But like if you think of transactions in Bitcoin, if I send you Bitcoin, that transaction is waiting. It's like waiting for the next block at the bus stop for 10 minutes. And then when the bus comes, the next block, those transactions that are waiting get on the bus and it's a done deal. So with Kaspa, we have the 1 second block time and we have more than one block at a time. So we'll it's like every 2 or 3 seconds, you know, 3 or 4 Ubers pull up. So if I send, that's how it works. So you have the ability to get into the distributed ledger happens much more rapidly, and there's multiple carriers coming all the time. Instead of just one big bus coming every 10 minutes, you have just little drivers coming and taking 200, 250 transactions every second. And that's going to 10x to having 10 come every second, you know. So once we get the higher throughput, and right now we're working very in depth. We have a lot of we have 3 tier 1s that we're working with. We're not on any tier 1 exchanges right now. We've been as high as coin number 20. We dropped a little bit. We're correcting a little. We're probably like 30 or 31 right now on coin market cap, but that's with no tier 1s. So we're working with tier 1s. We have the actual KRC20, the meme coin that Kasplex is being integrated into multiple exchanges so that people can trade the tokens. So lots of great adoption things are happening. And as I had mentioned, Grayscale is entertaining the possibility of adding us to their repertoire. So that's super cool too. Get some institutional juice going.
Let's talk a little bit about the team. Who's the team behind Kaspa?
Sure. So the gentleman, obviously the founder I had mentioned already, Jonathan Sampolinski, he's got you know, I started mining Bitcoin in 2011, so I've been around for a while. I heard about it on World of Warcraft. Playing video games actually paid off, so that's kind of silly. But anyway, Jonathan, he's great. He's come up with several protocols, and it's neat to point out that, like, you know, I had mentioned Ethereum's like framework of their technology has used his Ghost, slightly modified version of his Ghost protocol from over 10 years ago. When they first switched to proof of stake within, you know, I think it was 2 springs ago, like a year and a half ago, they had a consensus outage for like 45 minutes. And, you know, none of their nodes were really validating blocks, I believe. But to the user experience, the transactions seemed to still be flowing. And their developers later, pointed out, like, thanks to Ghost protocol, the users, the end users still were able to do transactions. And so, like, I think it's neat that the founder's brain power from over 10 years ago is still powering the number 2 coin. is helping to power the number 2 coin for what is it, 8 years now. Ethereum's been pretty famous, and his thinking's only gotten better, and his tech is more refined. Then we have a lead developer that's also a wizard. He's an expert in high performance computing. So in the last 2 years, our original programming language was Golang, and then they rewrote the whole thing in Rust, which is a high performance language. So now in a single brain of a computer, most people have heard of the CPU, like the Ryzen or the Intel processor, and they have multiple cores. Like even a cell phone has like 8 cores now. So it's like 8 little brains can think of different stuff inside the same chip. So in our consensus node, when we're saying if those little Ubers that filled up, if that Uber is good, if that block is valid or not, we validate different blocks inside the same CPU in different threads at the same time. So it's like a supermarket checkout lane. When you're like, there's a lot of people and there's only one cashier open and there's a long line, everyone's waiting. Every single blockchain in the world except us has to wait for it to get checked out. The next block, the next block, the next block through one. We're the first one that has multiple cashiers open. So different blocks go through different rails inside the same CPU. That's another world first of Kaspa that makes it really interesting.
So there's a big focus on speed at Kaspa, decentralization and speed. Do you think that there is, if you build it, they will come type of situation here, where if you build the fastest blockchain, the adoption and the projects and the builders will come? Or do you think that there is more of, just because you build it does not mean that you will achieve adoption, and that there's other things that need to happen in order for you to achieve adoption? The reason I bring that up is because we've just seen one of the things that a lot of people don't know about, unless you're in the crypto space, is just how much money flows in partnerships, and how many grants there are, how many of those building on chain are given incentives in order to build on a certain chain. Polygon was the great example of this in the last cycle. They were, and I think this to their detriment, they were marketing themselves as, we just paid 5 million here, we just paid 3 million here, and that ended up hurting them from a marketing perspective. But they did. I appreciate their transparency. I'm curious how you see this. You're a builder in the space. You're in biz dev. You're talking to different projects. You're trying to grow your chain. Are you having people come to you and just say, yeah, you guys are decentralized and you're fast, okay, we're in? Or is there more that needs to happen in order to get the adoption?
So far, like I said, we've been very similar to Bitcoin in that the only trick we knew for the first 2.5 years, or almost 2 3/4 years, is just sending coins from one address to another. With that KRC20, the Kasplex inscription, now we have tokens also. So there was not really anything to really build on for the first 2.5 years. But that didn't stop, like I mentioned, that huge mining entity, Marathon. They came to us. They found the technology, and they never mined Litecoin. They never mined Doge. They never mined Monero or Ethereum when it was mineable. And after 14, they started mining Bitcoin in 2010. And after 14 years of only Bitcoin, they started mining Kaspa. So they came to us. So it's not that they're building on it, but they engaged. They have miners, and they're doing it. Now we have the inscriptions and the KRC20 tokens. So now we have people coming to build on that, using that, and then we have a very neat the thing that's neat about the smart contract platform we're constructing is that it will have built-in MEV resistance. This sounds a little technical. It's not that technical, really. MEV is minor extracted value. It's like stealing an idea. So when I had mentioned like the transactions waiting at the bus stop, right now on most chains, your idea for like a swap or an arbitrage or something in DeFi, that idea for the transaction sitting there, but it's not locked into a block. So somebody else, they have bots that like analyze. They look at who's waiting at the bus stop and they see, hey, is there any money in this deal? And if there is, they grab the idea and they do it first themselves. And then you don't make the money, or you pay too high of a of the slippage goes up because they did it for you and they ripped you off, whatever it is. So MEV sucks, and if you're an end user, you don't want MEV. So Kaspa, due to the super fast, since we already have Ubers coming, we're gonna have 10 times more coming all the time. We're gonna have 100 milliseconds is like, that's 100 milliseconds, very, very fast, a tenth of a second. Due to the rapid block time that the transactions there, like in only for a blink of an eye, and it's also going to be encrypted. So for our smart contracts, so it's going to be encrypted, and it's only going to be there that long anyway. So with that in mind, the MEV resistance, the ability that the actual end user is going to be able to actually get the good deal for themselves, or do the idea for a transaction where they can make a little money or whatever it is, get a good price, that's going to actually be possible. We plan to have a DEX that is a fully decentralized DEX that has the MEV resistance, like substantial MEV resistance built in. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a big win. I mean, MEV or MEV, it's like scalpers to me at concerts and sporting events. It's people that are, stealing great ideas basically, or a great product, and then just selling it for a boost, right? And making a margin off of somebody else's product.
Sure.
And certainly not a fan of that. So love that you guys are doing something around MEV resistance. Before we wrap, I just wanted to ask anything on the roadmap that you think is exciting, that you're looking forward to, that our audience should know about.
Sure. Well, I had mentioned the 10 blocks per second. So that's called the crescendo fork. So that's going to be coming, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 months. In Q1 of 2025, we're going to become the fastest network in the world. And what else do we have? We have the super duper smart contracts coming out. That'll take a little while. It's going to take months and months, but they are they're well beyond the planning phase. Then we have something else I'm not going to even go into, but it's called DAG Night. So Ghost DAG is what we're on right now. That's our protocol for the entire 3 years almost that we've been a main network. DAG Night's coming probably by around spring next year. And then we have all these tier ones that have to enable trading. So that's kind of neat. And other than that, the main idea for me with Kaspa is like, in the old days, if supposing you buy you buy a gold coin from 1860 and it's pretty neat, it's $2,000, it's $3,000. You put it in the safe, and in 10 years you open the safe, it's never going to be anything except a gold coin. The neat thing for me with Kaspa is the Kaspa I have today and the Kaspa I mined when it first started, the network started 3 years ago. It's become new things even since then, and it's not done evolving. It's not static. It's a dynamic asset. It's learning new tricks. It's making new friends, and its capabilities are gonna be world breakthrough things that I've never seen before in crypto, and it's all on paper already proven. Like it's not like it would be neat if we could make it do this stuff. We're talking about Harvard research people that already mathematically prove these things on paper, with computer science and math. So it's a done deal. We just have to make it be realized in software.
Which I think is always the Kaspa's at an interesting point, as are many of the younger blockchains. It's easy to forget that Bitcoin has been around for 15 years and Ethereum has been around for 8 to 10 years. So these chains that we use, and even Solana has been around for a while too, slightly less than Ethereum, but they've been around for many, many years, and they've had time to build the network effects, to build an ecosystem of builders on top. And there is going to be other chains that succeed in the long term. I have no doubt about it. And there's definitely an opportunity for Kaspa to be one of those chains, as you said, based on the tech and the speed and what you are offering is something that is not offered currently in the space. So thank you so much for joining us today, Wolfie. Really appreciate your time and appreciate you building in the space.
Hey, thanks a lot for inviting me. Always fun to meet new people. You got a really cool vibe. And like I said, the name of the show is great. And I hope your watchers and viewers get something cool out of it.
Awesome. Thanks for listening in, everybody. Have a wicked awesome day. As always, if you liked today's episode, please hit subscribe and make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, we're going to also leave a link for Milk Road Pro. You get access to our portfolio where you can see exactly what we are buying. This is your number one resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note. This show is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Investing in crypto or any asset is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks so much for listening in, my friends. Have a wicked awesome day.